The South China Morning Post, together with its Sunday edition, the Sunday Morning Post, is an Hong Kong English-language newspaper with a circulation of 104,000, published by the SCMP Group. In 2009, Reginald Chua, Deputy Managing Editor of The Wall Street Journal and former editor of The Wall Street Journal's Asia edition, was appointed editor-in-chief of the paper, replacing CK Lau. Chua was joined by David Lague, formerly of the International Herald Tribune and The Wall Street Journal, as managing editor. Chua has since stepped down, replaced by former Deputy Editor Cliff Buddle. History, broadsheet. South China Morning Post Limited was founded by T.S.E. Tsan Tai and Alfred Cunningham in 1903. The first edition of the paper was published on November 6, 1903. From its founding, during the Qing dynasty until 1913, 1 year after the establishment of the Republic of China, it was known, in Chinese, as a euro sha, y plus or minus a euro. In 1913, its Chinese name was changed to a euro sha, y plus or minus a euro, and has remained as such since then. The Chinese name of Sunday Morning Post is a euro shiyaoi, epsilon, y plus or minus a euro. In November 1971, it was listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. It was privatized by Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation in 1987, and relisted in 1990. Malaysian tycoon Robert Cox Kerry Media bought the controlling interest from News Corporation in October 1993. His son, Kok Koo Nin, took over as chairman at the end of 1997. Kok Koo Nin's sister, Kok Hui Kwong, was named Chief Executive Officer on January 1, 2009. Circulation and profitability. The paper's circulation has remained relatively constant at 104,000 copies since 2000. The average audited circulation for the first half of 2007 stood at 106,054, while its Sunday edition, the Sunday Morning Post, has a readership of 80,865. In 2012, the readership of the SCMP and the Sunday Morning Post was estimated at 396,000. Its readership outside Hong Kong remains at some 6,825 copies for the same period, again, relatively unchanged. It also had the position as the most profitable newspaper in the world on a per-reader basis. Profit declined since peaking in 1997 at 805 million Hong Kong dollars, yet its growth potential is viewed as being largely dependent on its ability to penetrate the wider Chinese market. The group reported net profit of 338 million Hong Kong dollars for the year 2006. The operating profit of 419 million Hong Kong dollars was attributable mainly to the newspaper operation. The selling price of the paper is 8 Hong Kong dollars each from Monday to Saturday, and 10 Hong Kong dollars for the Sunday Morning Post. A discounted student subscription is also available. It was increased 14.5% and 25% respectively in August 2011. As of August 26, 2010, SCMP Group posted a profit of $52.3 million in the first half of 2010. Format: the printed version of the Post is in a broadsheet format, in sections: main, city, sport, business, classifieds, property, racing, technology, education, style magazine. The Sunday edition contains main, a review section, a Post magazine, racing, at your service, a services directory, and Young Post, targeted at younger readers. On March 26, 2007, the Post was given a facelift, with new presentation and fonts. Another redesign in 2011 changed the typefaces to Farnham and Amplitude for headlines, Utopia for text, and Freight for headers. Online version: scmp.com is a subscription-only service, which also allows the retrieval of archive articles dating back from 1993. It was launched online in December 1996. On May 30, 2007, scmp.com relaunched with a new look, features, and multimedia content. Headlines and the introduction to stories are now free to view, while the full articles are available to subscribers. Archive photos and articles are available for purchase. On July 16, 2007, SCMP.com launched its first-ever viral video marketing campaign targeting a global audience and highlighting the new multimedia features of the website. At present, the SCMP also provide free subscription to the South China Morning Post iPad edition for the Apple iPad. Alleged pro-Beijing bias and censorship, the Koch family is known to be pro-Beijing, and questions have been raised over the paper's editorial independence. There have been concerns, denied by Koch, over the forced departures, in rapid succession, of several staff and contributors who were considered critical of China or its supporters in Hong Kong. These included, in the mid-1990s, their popular cartoonist Larry Fane, humor columnist Nuri Vitachi, and numerous China desk staff, namely 2001 editorial pages editor Danny Jyutping, Beijing correspondent Jasper Becker, and China pages editor Willie Lam, who departed after his reporting had been publicly criticized by Robert Koch. Cartoonist Fane was abruptly dismissed not long after Koch's purchase of the newspaper, after running several cartoons about the culling of human body parts from Chinese prisoners. His firing was defended as cost-cutting, but was widely viewed as political self-censorship during the jittery final years before Hong Kong's handover to the PRC. Editorial page editor Jyutping complained that in January 2001 he was told to take a realistic view of editorial independence and ordered not to run extracts of the Tiananmen papers but was allowed to only after protesting strenuously. The editor, however, believed that there had already been sufficient coverage. At the launch of a joint report published by the Hong Kong Journalists Association and Article 19 in July 2001, the chairman of the Hong Kong Journalists Association said, "More and more newspapers self-censor themselves because they are controlled by either a businessman with close ties to Beijing, or part of a large enterprise, which has financial interests over the border." Mark Clifford, former editor-in-chief of The Standard from 2004-06, was hired as editor-in-chief of The Post in February 2006. He presided over the controversial dismissal of several journalists over an internal prank, and himself resigned with effect April 1, 2007. Editor-in-chief Wang Xianwei was criticized for his decision to reduce paper's coverage of the death of Li Wangyang on June 7, 2012. Wang reportedly reversed the decision to run a full story, and instead published a 2-paragraph report inside the paper. Other news media reported it prominently. A senior staff member who sought to understand the decision circulated the resulting email exchanges, that indicate he received a stern rebuff from Wang. Self-censorship concerns were raised in the Chinese-language press of the territory because Wang is Chinese-born, and is a member of the Jilin Provincial Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. The paper has since stepped up coverage of the death and aftermath as major news stories. Wang made a statement on June 21, in which he said he understood the huge responsibility to deliver news and the journalistic heritage we have inherited, and said that his decision not to pursue extensive coverage as the story broke was pending more facts and details surrounding the circumstances of this case. Reporter Paul Mooney, whose contract with the paper was not renewed in May 2012, said that the Li Wangyang story was not an isolated incident. Wang Xianwei has long had a reputation as being a censor of the news. Talk to anyone on the China reporting team at the South China Morning Post and their unregistered trademark LL tell you a story about how Wang has cut their stories, or asked them to do an uninteresting story that was favorable to China. Despite the pro-Beijing sentiments of the owners, the Morning Post does report on commemorations of the Tiananmen Square massacre, and has run editorials criticizing the one-child policy. Notable staff: Gary Botting, writer at the SCMP in the 1960s, now an extradition lawyer in Canada; Jonathan Fenby, editor from 1995 to 1999; Stephen Leather, British thriller novel writer; Ma Jun, Chinese environmentalist, reporter for the SCMP from 1993 to 2000. See also, Media of Hong Kong, references. External links: official website, SCMP Tablet Edition, SCMP Mobile Edition, SCMP TV, South China Morning Post Chinese, Young Post, Education Post.